What a Richard Simmons here. Now, here is my throwback segment where I talk about the films that turned 10, 20, and 30 this week. Alright, films celebrating their 10th anniversary. We have a couple of remakes here that turns 10. One of which is a 24 remake of Robocop. Now, of course, it starred Joe Kinnaman here, who of course plays like this detective who quickly becomes injured and is turned into a cyborg police officer, who's pretty much programming blurs the line between man and machine. And you also had the likes of Gary Oldman, Sam Jackson, Michael Keaton was also in this. Now the remake didn't really get too much love, but I actually thought the remake was pretty fine. Joe Kinnaman, like he's no Pierre Wellering like that, but I thought he played the part very well. The action was pretty fun. It was pretty entertaining. I mean, was this as good as the original RoboCop? Obviously not, but I still, I still enjoyed it. So, all right. Also, turning 10 is another remake that came out this week. Was pretty much big with remakes back in 2014. We had the remake of About Last Night. Now, this was a remake of like a 1980s comedy that had the likes of Jim Belushi, Rob Lowe, and all. Now this was a remake that starred the likes of Kevin Hart, Michael Ealy, Regina Hall, Paula Patton, Joy Bryant. Now, if you guys don't know much about the story here, it tells the story of Danny, of like the experience of Danny, uh, Debbie, Bernie, and Joan, who are like two couples who test how their like relationship work in the real world here, and it's also like also based on a play as well. I think the remake was actually not as good as the original, obviously, but I think it was pretty charming. Kevin Hart, Michael Ealy was pretty great in this. Uh, Directed by Steve Pink, who also gave us like Hot Machine, pretty good director there. So yeah, I really thought this was a really cute and charming old comedy. If you guys haven't seen it, here we go. Alright, also turning 10, we got Endless Love. Now, this is, of course, a remake of a 1980s romantic film that had the likes of Brooke Shields. It was actually Tom Cruise's first film, believe it or not. Now, now, if you guys don't know much about the remake, it follows like it follows Jade, who's of course being a graduate, who's a high school graduate here, who is sheltered, but who's of course a sheltered and privileged teen who becomes like in love with Elliot, with David Elliott, played by Alex Pettyfer, who's this classic youth with like a troubled past here. And so Jade and David quickly fall for each other, and Jade's father, played by Bruce Greenwood, strongly disapproves of their relationship, and while David's father, played by Rob Patrick, advises caution here, and of course their parents end up disapproving, and so only makes like their love, like the love struck teens, more determined to pursue their intense affair here, and it's not a bad little remake. I mean, it's probably a tad bit better than the original, but I thought the two leads, really had good chemistry here. The The lead actress is, of course, Gabrielle Waller. I thought she had good chemistry with Alex Pettyfer, which it's a shame Alex Pettyfer is not a big name actor as he was. I always thought he could have been the next big thing, but yeah, this is actually not a really bad one here. So now, other films turning out that turns 10, we got The Terrible Winter's Tale. Now, this movie is based on a 1983 novel and was directed by Cleva Goldsman, who, of course, is best known for writing movies like some good, like A Beautiful Mind, and some not so good, like Batman and Robin. And you had really good cast here too. You had the likes of Colin Farrell, Jennifer Connelly, William Hurt, Russell Crowe. You even had Eva Marie Saint. Will Smith was even this. Will Smith only had like a little cameo. He didn't really have too much of a big part here. But this film pretty much takes place like one early 20th century New York City. And Master Thief Peter Lake, played by Colin Farrell, breaks into like Central Park's mansion and quickly has his heart stolen by its occupant Beverly Penn, played by Jessica Brown Finley. But their love is very star-crossed, and is also dying from compensation. And he is marked for death by his demonic former mentor Pearlie Soames, played by Russell Crowe. And Peter, battles the forces of time and darkness to save Beverly. And oh boy, I remember watching this one in theaters back in 2014. This literally has some Oscars written all over it. But holy cow, this was one of the most boring films I've seen that year. It really didn't make any sense. For one, it flopped. So let me just say, if this movie had came out around the time David Zaslav was in office, this movie would have got shelved for tax write-offs. But yeah, this was not a good one at all. The performances wasn't all that great. It was boring. Yeah, just didn't do anything for me. So, all right, now also turning 10, we've got 3 Days to Kill, which was directed by Mick G. And also had the likes of Kevin Costner, Haley Steinfeld, Amber Heard was also in this. And this was pretty much the movie that pretty much tried to make Kevin Costner as a bona fide action star. And if you guys don't know much about the story here, it's where Kevin Costner, who plays the spy Ethan Renner, has decided to give up his dangerous high stakes life in order to rebuild his relationship with his estranged wife and daughter. Of course, his daughter is played by Haley Steinfeld, whom he previously pushed away to keep out of harm's way. However, in exchange for a potentially life-saving drug, he must complete one final mission: apprehend one of the world's most ruthless terrorists, while looking after his teen offspring in her mother's absence. And this was actually a pretty fun little action movie. It was directed by McGee, who gave us Charles Angels, most recent the Babysitter movies. I think this was actually his last theatrical film he directed before he ventured into the streaming world. But I think he did a really good job with this one. The action was pretty cool. Kevin Costner really showcased his action skills here perfectly. So not a bad little film if you guys haven't seen that. All right, now films turning 20 this week. Maybe one of my favorite rom coms in the past 20 years, and that is 51st Dates. Now, 51st Dates stars Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. Of course, this was their follow the first time working together since Wedding Singer. And Adam Sandler has always worked with a lot of friends. I guess this was the first one of the few times where he actually kept reuniting with his female interest here. Now you also had the likes of Rob Schneider, Sean Astin, Alan Covert. Hi, I'm Tom. Who remembers 10 Second Tom? Come on. You also had Blake Clark was also in this. Dan Aykroyd, Maya Rudolph. You had some really cool supporting players here. Now, if you guys don't know much about the story here, it follows Henry, who plays this womanizing Marine veterinarian who falls for an art teacher named Lucy, played by Drew Barrymore. When he discovers she has amnesia and forgets him, he decides to try to have him keep on fall in love with him over and over again each like for each new day. And lots of people was nowadays people probably quote because Adam Sandler's Henry is pretty much what's it's pretty much using I never really saw that to be honest there. But I actually always still love 51st Days. I mean, the way he always tries to make her fall in love with him is always hilarious. Especially the scene where Drew Barrymore beats the living snot out of Rob Schneider. I mean, come on, who did not love Rob Schneider? I've always adored his character here. This is my good eye. Who doesn't love Rob Schneider at all? Uh, yeah, this definitely really cute, charming rom com. Adam Sandler, Drew Barrymore obviously had great chemistry here. It's definitely has lots of fun to it. It's definitely an Adam Sandler classic, my top tier favorite films of his. So if you guys never seen 51st Dates, definitely give that one a go. All right, now also trying 10, we got The Lion King 1.5, which is a retelling of The Lion King and coming on from the perspective of Timon and Pumbaa. And shows that they're and shows how the pair became friends. And when Timon leaves his colony because he doesn't fit in, he meets a lonely Puma. Together, Timon and Pumbaa search for a new home, having adventures along the way here. So of course, this is pretty much like what the pretty much a little bit of what the upcoming Mufasa is supposed to be. I don't know if Mufasa is gonna be more based on this or anything like that. Now, obviously, let's be real. I don't love it as much as like the original Lion King. Like the original Lion King stands the test of time, but I still actually quite enjoy Lion King 1.5. I still always found this one just as good. I always do like seeing Timon and Pumbaa just together. Like, come on, those two are the most iconic Disney characters there is. So yeah, we're really decent one here. Now, films turning 30 this week, we got Blank Check, which was directed by Rupert Weinberg and starred Karen Duffy, Miguel Ferrer, and the film follows a boy who inherits a blank check and uses it to buy a house under alter ego, but it soon being searched for several members of the bank he cashed it under. Now, blank check, by the way. This is a little bit of a controversial one because there is actually a scene in the movie where it features like where it features a child literally kissing a grown woman, which I remember seeing that scene. I always found that to be very uncomfortable. I'm like, why did they do that in the movie? Beyond me, like if this actually could have been better if it wasn't for that scene, to be honest. Though. But yeah, it's not all that great of a film. So yeah, all right. Also trying there we got The Getaway, which stars Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger, which was directed by Roger Donaldson, who gave us stuff like Dante's Peak, as well as No Way Out. Um, and you also had the likes of David Morris, Phil Seymour Hoffman, Jennifer Tilly was also in this. And here you had Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger, who plays McCoy, who plays Dr. Karen McCoy, who's a married couple of criminals looking for a high paying score. And when Doc ends up in a Mexican prison. Carol tells mob boss Jack Bannon, played by James Woods, that Doc will work for him if Bannon, can free him from prison here. And it's not that great a film, but it's actually a pretty entertaining one. Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger both had good chemistry here, so not a bad one there. All right, also turning dirty, we got My Girl 2. Now, of course, this is a follow to the original My Girl, which came out like back in 1991. It had like maybe one of the most heartbreaking scenes where Macaulay Culkin gets killed by police. Um, yeah, that's come on, that's funeral scene. You'll definitely tear up if you watch that. But of course, you had Anna Kolumsky, Jamie Lee Curtis, Austin O'Brien, pretty much replacing Macaulay Culkin here. And you had Aykroyd, Curtis, and Clumsy, and Richard Masur reprising the roles. And it follows the now teenager Vada Suttonfrost, who pretty much travels from their home in the suburbs of Pennsylvania to LA to find more information about her deceased mother. And while it's not anywhere near as good as the original My Girl, obviously the original My Girl definitely holds up. It's an okay one. Of course, the performance like Anna Clumpsy, Jamie Lee Curtis, Dan Aykroyd, they were all fine in this. I mean, it's not as more memorable as the original My Girl, but it definitely stands the test of time here. So not a bad one there. But that's pretty much it here. Let me know what you guys. Which of these films stand out to you the most? To me, the 10-year one is probably going to be the Robocop remake. The 20-year one, obviously 51st Days, and either those like the last three aren't all that great. My Girl 2 will probably stand out to me because you can't go wrong with My Girl, right? Anyway, drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. This is Super Sign out.